Sparklers! Today we're talking about fun. Now, as a classical musician, and this is exactly what I wore and exactly what I looked like on stage a couple days ago in a fancy orchestra festival here in France with a fancy orchestra. And it wouldn't necessarily occur to everybody that what's happening in my head while I'm playing and performing is a result of having the most fun that I possibly can have in the practice room and on stage. Research shows that it takes 10 times fewer repetitions to learn something, and it's much more sticky, or you have better recall and integration if you learn it while you have the sensation of playing. This doesn't mean gamifying everything. This just means having the most fun possible while you're learning. Part of the fun of this is knowing the story, the structure, the colors, the harmony, and how we're gonna get from one end of the performance to the other, right? So all of this is coming together. And a lot of that happens in rehearsal, and then performances are always a special thing, and sometimes we get a little bit of extra nerves, but that's, again, our brain telling us that something is important and it's trying to protect us. So what we're doing in the practice room is we're building all of these competencies and all of these things together so that we're able to best communicate the story and not be blocked by that self-judgment, that protective brain, that lions and tigers and bears are probably not going to come running across on stage, right? So that then we can not be blocked by that stuff, but instead lean into the creative music making part. So what I'd like you to do today with your worksheet, you'll see that you have the 3 zones of excellence across the top and spark down the side. And spark, again, are the 5 pillars of music making, which are S is for sound, P is for performance, A is for attuned intonation, R is for rhythm, and K is for kinetic integration and how we talk to ourselves. So let's build a spark practice session together so that you can go back to the practice room and you have a very silly but very effective way to spend half an hour of your practice time today. For S, what I challenge you to do is to think of all of the characters that you can find in your piece and in your part and play them as much in that character as possible. Obviously, an elephant will sound different than a ballerina, will sound different than the color orange, which, however you want to describe it, go through a phrase or a section of your piece that you're working on and try as many characters as you can possibly come up with in those 5 minutes. For P, for performance, we're going to be building on our trail markers from yesterday, and we're going to be filling it in with the story. So you can even pull out different images that you find or the photos that you've taken that help you describe the piece that you're playing. So it's kind of like theater decor that help you understand where things are taking place and what's going on. For attuned intonation, this is one of my favorite things. This is called the skeleton. Now, the skeleton is the backbone of your harmony. In your piece, in your specific key, the backbone of the harmony, the notes that don't change, are the tonic, the dominant, and the subdominant. So go ahead, spend 5 minutes in a piece that you're working on. Remember to look at what key you're in, and if you need to, look at the score just to check. And then play the tonic, the dominant, and the subdominant. This is the secret sauce, and this is your secret mission today for the skeleton, okay? Record a phrase on your phone that you know really well. Don't listen to it. Then spend 2 or 3 minutes playing just the tonic, just the dominant, and just the subdominant. So that's the 1, the 5, and the 4, right? This is your skeleton. These are the notes that don't change. Then, after you've spent a couple minutes only playing just those notes, then go back and re-record your phrase. The skeleton exercise is super magical, and I think you're really going to appreciate it. Now for R, for rhythm, take 5 minutes, grab one of those drum machines online and maybe you have like a samba, maybe you have the cha-cha or something else, whatever you want. but go ahead and use that drum machine to give you a different sense of the way that the groove takes place and the rhythms that you're playing. This is a way to spice things up and to also understand the flow and the structure of what you're actually working on. The exercise for K, for these 5 minutes, the K Spark today, is to actually go ahead and say, okay, this is a question, this is an answer. This is something happy, this is something that's a mystery, this is something that's really sad, and all of that. And so when you're practicing, you actually make the faces that go with it. Yay, I'm hopping through the forest. Oh, this is the cave of mystery. What's happening here? Oh, this is something that is really sad and it just makes me so upset. And when you use those different characters in the way that you're playing, the conception of sound and the conception of how all of these things come together is going to be really influenced in an extremely musical way. And it also helps with the performance element, because as we talked about yesterday, anytime you're leaning more heavily into being creative, there's less and less space for the critical part. Okay, so that's your Go Be Silly practice session from Spark Practice. Please bring any questions that you have or anything that you're struggling to work out how to practice it, and I super look forward to exploring that together. Happy practicing. Have a nice day.